Happy New Year, Scott. How are you?
Happy New Year. Happy 2021. Great to see you, Robyn.
Yes, I like the big leap over to 2021 behind you. It was a giant leap for sure.
That was me. I've been trying to make that leap for about 6 months, but I finally made it last week. So
yes, it's definitely been a challenging year behind us, but really looking forward to 2021. I know there's going to be no substantial big changes in the world that we're in right now, right away, but definitely hopeful and optimistic for a brighter year.
Yeah, and I think that's the sense I'm getting from a lot of people in my circle, not just in education, but kind of everywhere where, we always want to turn the page to a new year, but I think especially this year, we're all really looking forward to seeing just a little bit of progress and hopefully that progress continues as we move through 2021.
Yeah. So the last time we were on our call was the holiday time, and we had a little bit of fun with holidays and the holiday spirit. Did you do anything fun or to get some rest and recovery over the break?
Yeah, I certainly did. And probably for the first time in my 20 plus years in education, which still I feel really old when I say 20 plus years in education, but I really unplugged, Robyn. I mean, email was off. Teams was off. I think I didn't open my laptop until like last Friday or Saturday. And it felt great. I mean, obviously I have 2 young boys at home, so it was easy to kind of get into the holiday spirit, / help out with watching them all day, every day. But it just felt great to unplug. I mean, it was really awesome and really great time. What about you?
Yeah, definitely did some disconnecting and some recharging as well. Didn't have little ones to take care of, but had a dog out of surgery. So it definitely kept me very well grounded, close to her, making sure she was okay, doing, put on my little nurse hat, if you would, and took care of her and then totally, binge watched way too much Netflix.
That's a good thing. What's your favorite show right now? What are you watching? What are you into?
So 2 that I just finished. I finished more than 2. Sadly, I'm saying I've binge watched several series, but I don't know what the name of it was. I'm terrible, but it was one of the Manhunt series during the Atlanta Olympic Park bombing in 96, 97 when that happened. That one was a really good episode or a series that I watched through. And then the other one that I watched through was The Spanish Princess. So
nice. I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, that one was really great. Historical fiction it's a little, fun to watch some of those things and the stories come alive from history. So those are my faves. But anyway, enough about our little holiday downtime, which was awesome and nice. But I'm really excited tonight. We've got 2 amazing guests that we're bringing on our show tonight. So without further ado, let's go ahead and bring on our guest tonight. We've got Bhavani Kola, who is coming to us from Texas. She is a professor at Tarrant County Community College. Sorry, it's a mouthful there. And then we also have Dr. Valentina DeNardis, who is coming to us from Villanova University in Pennsylvania. So welcome to the show, guys.
Oh, thanks so much.
Yes, Bhavani, you're muted if you want to unmute. And that's our phrase of 2020, right? You're muted.
You're muted. Yeah, I'm going to have a T-shirt saying I'm muted. Yeah. Happy New Year, everyone. Thank you for having us.
Thanks for being here, you guys. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. So we wanted to have really kind of a discussion tonight on and taking a view from the higher ed perspective and what this pandemic has brought around, a lot of changes. So we've had several guests on the show from a K-12 perspective to share some of their challenges, some of their biggest learnings and successes as well. So really want to kind of take a different view tonight and look at higher ed and how this has impacted you guys. So we'll start off with whoever wants to take this one first, but how are teachers, professors, students in the higher ed space, how are they surviving during this hybrid learning? And what have been their biggest concerns? And I think those might be different from the students and professors, but what are the concerns that are happening and the takeaways so far? Who wants it?
I'm looking at the screen and saying, okay, I'm going to take it. Talking about surviving and thriving, I think we have come together as a community. Educators from all over the world have been supporting one another. It could be from Tarrant County, it could be from Pakistan, from Indonesia. I think we've been connecting with one another, supporting, empowering, and telling us it's okay. We've been going through the same problems that you've been going through, and we can get over it. And And the main point for me was I had to make sure I stay strong because my students are looking forward to it. And it was okay to tell my students, I don't know how to react or I don't know what's going on, but trust me, we'll get through this together. So that was my learning during this COVID time, telling my students and assuring myself and empowering myself first, and then making sure I'm okay to present in front of my students. So it was a challenge, but hey, 2021.
Yeah, I'm going to echo that word challenge. I don't know how many times I've said the word challenge or challenging in 2020. But yeah, I think it's been a challenge for everyone, especially because it wasn't just that we were going online. It was that, folks could have had family members sick. Students could be, especially at the higher ed level, they could have gone back home. They could be international students who couldn't get back home and didn't have a great place to live. Or they did go back home. And I had students in China who had to get up in the middle of the night to attend their online classes. So I think something that this experience has really taught all of us is to really think about and learn about what compassion is. So, just giving everybody some space to maybe not to have the best day every day, and to have that understanding to know, like Bhavani said, we'll get through this together. We're trying our best, one day at a time. So a lot of really interesting lessons over this past year, and compassion is what I tried to keep in my mind as I went through.
So literally the $1 million question, or maybe multi-million-dollar question, is what are your enrollment numbers? What are they looking like? I mean, obviously, in the K-12 space, there's lots of, reliable funding that we have for schools. We're not basing that on how many students maybe are enrolling in our schools, right? You're getting your funding. But in the community college and the higher ed space, you thrive on having students being able to pay tuition and enroll in your university to stay alive. So what is the enrollment looking like, or what did it look like in the fall versus now? Do you see significant changes?
Yeah, I'll go first. At Villanova, we actually were able to remain open in the fall by sort of creating a variety of modalities for courses. So some were fully online, some were hybrid, some were in person. And so that allowed us to do the social distancing in the classrooms that we had. And we had a full semester. So I'm very grateful for that. And in my own program, my classical studies program, about 5 years ago, I actually created an online master's degree in our program. And actually, that's when I discovered Microsoft tools, because I was looking for things that would work and help students work online together, and started using those tools. And then I thought, hey, I could use these for my campus classes too. And that's how I sort of got into the whole Microsoft education space. For my program in particular, I actually saw some increase in enrollments for the fall because people were looking for already established online programs, which I happen to have. But our campus classes rolled along as well. But I know for a lot of other institutions in higher ed, there may have been struggles where they didn't have students coming to campus, and they need those room and board dollars too to help pay for things to function. So it's definitely been a struggle.
What about you, Bhavani? I mean, I know, at least from reading articles online, it seemed that there was also maybe a path where a lot of students were choosing to stay at home, maybe for community college for a couple of years, since it was nearer to home. They didn't have to go away to college as they maybe had planned to do in the past. Have you guys seen an uptake in enrollment at the community college level, or is it the same? What are you seeing?
Right. It's the same. We did not see anything go up or go down. But like you said, definitely, because it's a community college, if the universities are closed, students would want to enroll more into our classes. And again, because everything is online, our testing, students have to be placed into our courses. So testing was a little bit backlogged for us, and that could have been a problem. But as of now, the enrollment is as it's supposed to be. All my 5 classes were full. So students are coming in, which is a good point for instructors. I'm like, I check my enrollment every day. I'm like, oh my gosh, stop now.
Well, that's good news. That is
it is.
awesome. You know, you read headlines and stories that come across and they're like, oh my goodness, is what's happening. So it's really just nice to hear from you guys that things seem pretty stable. So that's awesome.
Yeah, most definitely. And Valentina, you mentioned something really interesting that I know a lot of educators and schools and districts and universities, everybody's really dealing with, is this different modalities, right? And, you know, we know what we're doing now with online and hybrid, but what is that going to look like in a year or 3 years or 5 years? Is that the biggest takeaway from all this for you, that we're going to have to do more online and hybrid learning? Or is there something else that educators at Villanova and others that you're talking to are beginning to take away from all this?
Yeah, well, as I started to mention, the lesson that I learned when I found these Microsoft tools was that they really transformed the way I taught my campus classes. So in March, when we had to shut down, my Latin students were like, we're totally fine, right? Because we're already in Microsoft Teams and OneNote Class Notebook. And I was like, yeah, we're totally fine. So it was just a question of meeting online and adjusting a few things. So I think as difficult as it was for professors who have never tried any of these tools before to try some of these things and alter their ways of teaching, I think they've probably learned some great tools that they can take with them so that if modalities do change in the future and you have to change on the fly, you have these tools at your fingertips and you can use them and not need such a great adjustment.
Love that. Bhavani, what about you? Same kind of deal at the community college level?
Yes, it is. But one thing we educators learned is things like these are inevitable. But what we have learned from the previous experiences, not to be overwhelmed, take it one day at a time. We've got through 2020, so we can get through anything now, and just take it as it comes and not to panic is what I learned. So I'm ready for anything coming up.
So have you guys seen like a shift in attitude, both from the faculty perspective as well as the students' perspective as this has gone along? I know at the very beginning, I actually had a call with one of the professors at University of Texas, actually, UT in Austin. And he was like, yeah, we have got professors that are like, you know, calling in, they don't know what to do. They don't have internet at home. And I was like, wait, what? It's you don't have internet at home? But so how has the attitude shifted over time?
It's actually true. There are a lot of instructors that I know personally have resigned because they're not tech savvy and they cannot deal with it. But there are instructors who are pushing their comfort level and trying to learn because for our students. So there's two ways to look at it. But again, like I said, things are inevitable, and students also did not have internet. As educators, we had to change hats and be an advisor, a counselor, mentor, and tell them where to go and look for resources. So that was challenging, and at some point it was satisfying too. And for some reason, we feel like we are the frontline heroes. This heroic turn, radical change, I think all educators deserve a pat on the back at this point.
Absolutely.
I definitely felt some growing pains as I was trying to help other professors when we first shut down. And, you know, some of them had really never used any tech tools before, to where they were like, what button do I press? So I think, you know, some of them sort of grudgingly went along with it, but others I think probably quite enjoyed learning how to use some new tools that they'll carry with them. But what I tried to keep advising everyone was to try to keep things streamlined. You don't have to try out every tool there is on the planet right now. Just find a couple of things that are going to work for you and your students and go with that.
Yeah, great advice.
I think that's Absolutely. The best advice ever, right? The old keep it simple moniker, right? Just slow things down. The focus is still about the learning, right? And the curriculum and whatnot. And the tech tools just kind of support all that. I always love hearing educators say that.
Less is more.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
So, I mean, you guys said it. The educators are really the heroes here and have done like tremendous leaps and bounds of growth and change, and you know, and your students are right there along, you know, beside you, either struggling or helping some of the teachers along the way. But we have noticed, obviously, you see lots of things about we're starting to see some of these teachers who say like, this is too much, I can't do this. Or you're seeing maybe even students who have experienced this and say like, I don't know if I would want to be a teacher and have to deal with this kind of crazy change. what do we do? I mean, from a higher ed perspective, one of the jobs in higher ed is obviously preparing the next generation of teachers. You guys are teachers. Scott, as a teacher, I'm a former teacher, so always a lifelong teacher, right? How do we continue to encourage today's students, especially those that were interested in education, or maybe even that are not sure if that was something they're interested in, to jump into this profession and tackle these challenges that we have today, but who knows what the challenges are going to be down the road?
Right. So you want to take it, Valentina? Or
go ahead, Bhavani.
For me personally, educators are someone that can have impact throughout your life. So I always tell my students about the Japanese word ikigai, what you love to do, what you're passionate about doing, what pays you, and what the world needs. Trust me, world needs educators. We have seen that in this disaster too, learning has never stopped. It could be for students or it could be for educators. We as educators are constantly learning. Students are learning with us. So I tell them that you like a subject, it's not because of the subject, it's because of the teacher. And that teacher has a strong impact throughout your life. I teach math, so.
Hey, I teach Latin, so.
I asked them, how many of you like math the first day? The hands don't go up. I'm like, thank you.
Yep. I teach calculus, Bhavani. I'm right there with you. My students do not like it coming into it. Right there with you.
Well, once again, I'll echo Bhavani. You said the word passion, and I think that educators need two things. They need to have a passion for the subject matter, and they have to have a passion for sharing that with others. And that was actually one of the goals of why I wanted to expand our MA degree to online, was that so I could reach more people. And I've gotten folks who are in the middle of another career or about to retire from another career, just doing it for fun. And then they're like, you know what, I'm really loving this stuff. And I think I'm going to pursue teaching after this. I really want to share this passion I've developed. It's never too late to develop a passion for something and then share that with others. So I'm hopeful.
Awesome.
And I personally think teaching is the only profession which helps you fill your bucket first than filling others' buckets. So I'm a strong believer of that. I walk into the class, I deliver my lecture. I kind of feel that I have that invisible cape behind me. No one can see except me. Walking with pride.
That's true. It's good to think about because sometimes we don't hear the success stories. I know, especially at the high school level, we often don't hear till 3, 4, 5 years down the road when students come back to campus and thank us for our time. I don't know if you know, but teenagers aren't always the most appreciative at the time. They're kind of self-centered. You may not have heard that, but it's a good reminder, right? To just remember the impact that we can make regardless of the level of education that we're teaching, for sure.
Absolutely.
And we got some affirmation there from Greg in the chat window here that his son loves math thanks to his 9th grade math teacher. Yeah. So, well, we appreciate you guys coming on the show tonight, sharing your perspective and your insights from the higher ed perspective. And honestly, I'm so glad to hear some of your responses. I was a little bit, had a little bit of trepidation about some of the questions. I'm like, oh, are we turning down a wrong, scary place in higher ed? Is it going to look crazy different? Are, schools going to be able to survive that are, depend and thrive on enrollment potentially going down? So I'm obviously just elated to hear that your enrollment is pretty stable and that you guys are doing well. Your students are adjusting to the changes, and I no doubt that they would. And every great teacher out there who is a great teacher adjust as well, because like I said, I think resilience the word for 2020, and it's going to continue into 2021. So thank you guys so much for the work that you do, the lives that you shape each and every single day in your classroom. You are an edu hero. You're one of our heroes here at Microsoft Education, and we're just thankful for your time tonight.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much. Great to be here.
Thank you so much for having us. And to all the educators, you guys are on the front line, but at different levels. So pat on your backs.
Well, and I'll give 2 little shout outs for those that are watching. You should definitely check these ladies out online as well outside of this feature here. Valentina has written and played several songs that are pretty popular out there. You can check her out. And Bhavani has an amazing YouTube channel. So if you're looking for some tutorials or help or support, she's got a great channel ready for you guys to go. So check them out off this. Feel free to drop links to your resources, guys, in the chat. We'd love to see those come through.
Thank you.
Love it. Robyn, should we do a quick lightning round? Do we have time for maybe 3 or 4 questions?
Yeah, of course. Yes, lightning round. I mean, we can't forget our the fun part.
No way. We got the hard questions out of the way. Now we have the fun questions for sure.
All right, so let me start. And we'll just do how we do a bounce back and forth. So we'll do Valentina, because you're on my left. I'm going to go with you. And then Bhavani, you can give your answer right after. So first question, what's your favorite food?
Lasagna.
Indian.
Nice. What is your favorite holiday?
My birthday.
Christmas.
Favorite sound? Your favorite sound?
Music.
The aha. Ah.
Like that.
For the students, yes.
That's right. What's your least favorite sound?
The dog barking when I'm teaching a class online.
Mine is like, eh? That Scooby-Doo sound that my students do when I'm teaching. Like, what?
Nice. Nice reference. Big fan. All right, a couple more, and we'll get you out of here for the night. What job outside of your current position, outside of education, would you most like to attempt?
Rockstar.
Love it.
Gardening. I don't know. This is the only thing I've been doing my whole life. So pass. I'll pass that question.
All right. And then is there any job that you definitely would never want to attempt?
Full-time mom.
Yeah.
Teenage kids.
Props to our stay-at-home moms. That is a difficult job for sure. They carry the weight of the load. And then lastly, when your career is over at your retirement party, what do you hope your colleagues and friends are saying about you?
That I was a lot of fun.
That they will never forget me.
Love it.
Great answers, ladies.
Great stuff, you guys. Thank you so much, ladies. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. Definitely make sure to check out these two online. We thank them very much for their time. Bhavani, Valentina, thank you so much. Have a great rest of your evening.
Thank you.
All right. And now we get to kick over to our next little segment, Scott.
Absolutely. So we thought kind of in line with, we talked about recharging our batteries and different things we did over the break to kind of get away from it all. I thought we'd just talk a little bit about self-care. And I know some of these are going to seem so simple to some people, Robyn, but I know you and I subscribe to this stuff. It's really great just to, oftentimes be reminded of the things that we can do to kind of fill our bucket.
Yeah, absolutely.
And by the way, I was very interested to find out that there is actually an international self-care foundation, a charity in the UK. Who knew? But I actually got to spend some time on their website kind of looking up all these tips about self-care. So check that out if you're interested.
Definitely.
But first and foremost, I don't know if you guys are Kid President fans, and kudos to Jen Mitchell for finding this little gift today. But just the ability to just pause every now and then, right, is wonderful. And Robyn, we've done it on the show, and I know you do it a lot in your practice and with our MIE experts and at Microsoft. But just that mindfulness, those breathing exercises, just to really slow yourself down, I know can be really powerful as a morning routine, randomly throughout the day, kind of whenever you need it to sort of slow yourself down. But there's plenty of studies out there certainly that show the physical effects that just some mindfulness and breathing activities can have on the body.
Yeah, honestly, these things there seem to be so common sense, but unless you start practicing them and train your body to do these things and make it part of your routine for the day, it just seems like I'm going to drink well, or I'm going to take some moments of deep breath and not thinking about worrying about all the stress. But if you really just kind of build it into, honestly, I'm a checklist girl, right? So I build myself checklist of everything I need to get accomplished in the day or hope to accomplish in the day, and in that checklist are things like, am I, constantly drinking water? I strive to drink my 64 ounces a day, right? Am I taking moments to breathe? And so I actually give myself tasks to breathe, tasks to make sure that I'm drinking. I check off my glasses of water each day, right? So it's just about training yourself to do it. Otherwise, you're supposed to rest well and drink well and eat well and move well and take those moments, but we often don't prioritize it.
Yeah, most definitely. And I know I mentioned this one. I know in today's, even before COVID, this was difficult for some of us, but certainly during COVID, when we're on devices all the time, it's really difficult to unplug. But man, the power of, putting that phone down, turning emails off, putting an away message on your Teams or your chat or whatever you have, can really get you some time away from it all. And even if it's just not talking to anybody, just kind of sitting for a while, but taking that technology away. I know I struggle with that, Robyn. Is that a struggle for you, or is that something you schedule as well?
I think we all struggle with this one. The best time I unplug really is when I accidentally leave my phone at home, and I have to go to the grocery store or something. I'm like, oh dang, I forgot my phone, and then I realize it's so freeing. Like, I'm not looking down to see if someone's texting or messaging me, or did I miss a call, or just an email came in that I have to prioritize. So it's a hard one to do, but I think it's definitely a priority. You did say something that reminded me too, is one of the great things about Teams is if you do use the Teams app on your phone, you can go into the settings and the notifications, and you can choose to say, I'm away. So you're not getting those pop-ups and saying, Scott just messaged Robyn. He's trying to get a hold of you, right? So just making sure it just goes to sleep for a while. You have the power and control to do that. So check out those features.
Absolutely. Certainly physical activity. I know that's hard for some of us to find that time during the day. But in fact, I was just reviewing a study that I saw a bunch of years ago from Harvard on the positive effects of physical activity with the brain, that it actually has been proven to increase memory and retention and engagement and those kind of things. So even in the classroom, right, to get students just to stand up and walk around for 5 minutes can be very powerful and freeing. So they're not sitting, at the K-12 level, they can be sitting in a desk for 5, 6, 7 hours a day, depending on the day of the week. So that physical activity, getting those endorphins going, can be really helpful.
Yeah. One of our directors here at Microsoft just started a thing where she's just calling them her one-to-one walks, her walk and talks. And I think this could be done in any setting with any leader who needs to meet with their direct reports or what have you. But instead of just having a call with each other or calling someone to your office to sit and have a face-to-face discussion, it's, even if you're doing it virtually, hey, I'm going to go on a walk, you're going to go on a walk, we'll have our earbuds in and we'll have our conversation while we're both moving and getting some, exercise in, some fresh air, and just kind of being, unplugged for a little bit from staring at a screen and sitting down.
Yeah, I love that. Love that. Catching up with a good book. I am terrible at this. My wife tries to get me to read a book at night so I can slow myself down, and I'm always trying to catch up on emails and watch my shows and all that kind of thing. But man, the power of reading a good book, and not always an education book, right? I mean, take yourself outside of your profession and enjoy some fiction or historical fiction or whatever it is that you're into, to kind of give your brain a real break from the day, because we know we're all, we're on 24/7 these days, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I always love a good trashy novel.
Full disclosure, we're always honest on this show, right?
That's right.
I love this too, finding a hobby, and hobbies, I think, take on different roles for different people. A hobby certainly could be exercise. It could be a sport. It could be reading. It could be puzzles, arts and crafts, really anything. Even home design. I put the little picture in the middle because we're redoing a bathroom right now. So I was thinking about all these home projects you can get yourself into. But again, just that idea of taking your brain away from the stress and the workload and the thoughts of the day can be super powerful, and just kind of, re-energize your body and your mind a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you have a go-to hobby or activity other than trashy novels and Netflix that we know about already?
I like crafting. So I have a vinyl machine. So just making things in general, where, so kind of the arts and crafts is my go-to from a hobby perspective.
Love that.
What about you?
Physical activity. I'm not super artsy and crafty. Right now I'm into, drawing and coloring with my 5 and 6 year old. So my skills are top notch right now compared to his. But my hobbies are more in the sports area, just getting that physical, trying to get better at golf. We all got bikes for Christmas too. So trying to do those things to kind of be outside, especially in Southern California when, the weather's pretty great most of the year. We can take advantage of that.
Yeah, it's definitely nice.
I love it. So hopefully you all will get a chance to use those. We know there's more. Share more of those online as well. Feel free to tweet at us, put messages, but we certainly hope those will help you with your stress level and kind of maintaining your engagement throughout the year. But we'll end tonight where we always do, Robyn, with our epic educators. We got our main 3 and a little bonus one at the end as well.
Yeah, it's just like Bhavani said, our educators are our heroes. So we want to give a special shout out tonight to William Jeffrey. William is actually from Richmond, Texas, which is just in my backyard, just on the way. But he is part of our MIE expert community. He participated in our little challenge that we put out to kind of set some goals for 2021. And so we're just excited that he is being intentful and purposeful about some goals for 2021. So shout out to you, William. And then over to Manteca, California is the awesome Tammy Dunbar. Tammy is just an amazing sharer. Every bit of information that she consumes and takes in, I believe she is 100% also sharing out to everybody else. So we're just excited that, Tammy continues to be an amazing voice and advocate for her students, as well as a support for fellow teachers around the world.
And shout out to Robyn, to all of the training partners and all the great MIE experts and educators around the country who are training as a side, job, but also who are offering up their training and their services online and their help and support. We certainly appreciate all the efforts. Yes,
totally. And then we also want to recognize the Merrill. So Kristen and Joe Merrill, we want to give a little shout out for you guys tonight. So they put together a 21-day Flipgrid challenge. You guys can definitely learn more about that if you would like, but just go to the Merrill's EDU on Twitter and follow these guys if you're not already. They've posted all their information about that 21-day Flipgrid challenge. We encourage all of you to participate. And just really love that they're sharing their passions, their experiences, and then really reaching out to others and getting others involved as well.
Absolutely. And one bonus one this week, Robyn, we wanted to highlight kind of the latest release from Teams.
Yep. So not an educator here, but we have a ton of new features that we just launched for 2021 in Microsoft Teams. So hopefully you guys will be able to check some of those out. I don't know, Scott, what's your favorite new feature?
Gosh, there's so many. I think it's the new Together mode. I really want to do a better job this semester of kind of engagement. And really, we're having trouble with students not turning their cameras on. So I'm really hoping that some of those kind of engaging, connected Together mode environments will bring them together. I think that's kind of the one I'm most excited about.
Awesome. I think the one for me for education for Microsoft Teams is the new feature to be able to use praise badges inside of Teams. So giving those to students. And then there are special badges for social emotional learning as well. So we know that's so important right now, or it's important all the time, but probably has a more higher focus right now with students not getting that social time that they need potentially. So I love seeing that we're turning those badges on, the praise badges for everybody to be able to use in their schools.
And just love seeing all the updates. It's always fun. It's like Christmas just continues when you keep getting these updates every couple of months of new features coming. So we look forward to more. I'm sure there's more coming soon.
The engineers behind the Teams team.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, thank you guys for tuning in tonight and joining us. Again, a special shout out to Bhavani and Valentina for sharing their expertise with us and experiences in the higher ed space during this time. So a shout out to them again, and definitely check them out on social media. Scott, what's up next? What are we talking about in a couple of weeks? What's going on?
We're going to continue the conversation about teachers and retention and recruitment and kind of how all of this is affecting us. And we're going to turn to the Showcase School community. So we're working on lining up a couple of our Showcase School leaders to come on and kind of continue the conversation that we started with Valentina and Bhavani tonight, talking about how we can encourage teachers to stay in the profession, come to the profession, and talking more about where education is going coming out of this pandemic.
Excellent. And you're getting a comment here from Greg that he used the Minecraft Together mode today.
Love it. Make use of those. Got to have. It's great to get people together, and it's kind of together but apart, right? Bringing us all together as best we can during these times.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks for tuning in tonight, guys. We look forward to meeting you up with you again in a couple of weeks online. And obviously our shows can all be found on demand. So if there's something you missed or you want to play back again or share with others, please definitely do so. You can check out our shows at aka.ms/US Microsoft EDU Live, and it'll take you to our YouTube channel. And if you or anyone you know would like to be a guest on one of our future shows, don't hesitate to reach out to Scott or I.
Absolutely.
All right. Till next time, may your 2021 be amazing.
Absolutely. Great to see you again, Robyn. Have a good couple weeks.
You too, friend.
Take care, everybody.